review of the cheap Chinese maple scratch plates, cavity covers and switch surrounds for Les Paul guitars. I found these parts on eBay and the price was so low I couldn't resist buying them, especially when I'll be putting together a Les Paul Harley Benson kit pretty soon, and this seemed like an interesting addition to that kit. From order to delivery, the time was about what it seems to be these days on Chinese post, and that was between 3 and 5 weeks. I actually think this came quite quickly and it was close to the 3-week mark. The packaging was very basic. It was just one of these very thin plastic bag arrangements. However, because the parts are flat and they all sit together and they're very strong, everything was alright inside and there was no damage, so the packaging was okay. Inside the packaging, all the parts were in a plastic bag. And then, if you removed the parts from the plastic bag, each of the parts then had their own plastic bag, except for one, so they couldn't rub and scratch against one another, which was pretty good as far as I was concerned, because they looked in mint condition. Right, I'll remove the parts from the plastic bags so I can have a better look at them. All the parts look pretty good, and they seem to be made of wood, and they're definitely as illustrated in the listing. I notice here a couple of the holes aren't quite drilled through correctly, so I'll just see how hard it is to clear those through, just using a sharp file. And there was definitely no problem there. The cores just fell straight out, so the holes are all clear and ready to be fitted to the guitar. Firstly though, I'll compare these parts to a set of parts I've got ready for the Harley Benson Les Paul guitar kit, see how it fits with them. Well, you can see they look pretty similar, apart from the obvious difference, which is the new set is made of wood and the old set is made of plastic. Right, let's have a closer look at each of the parts individually and compare them more closely. Firstly, we'll look at the cavity cover for the switch. Well, the two parts seem to be lining up very well. The holes all line up perfectly, and they seem to be about the same size. The only major difference is that there's quite a clear camber on the plastic part, whereas the wooden part has straight edges. I don't know if this will make a difference later. I'm trying here to show you that the holes are lined up well, and it's pretty hard to show it on a camera, but you can take my word for it, the holes are really bang on. Right, let's have a look at the switch surround. Well, you can see there's a clear difference in the text on the switch surround, in that it's sort of out of focus on the laser cut one. However, this I think gives it character. However, something that is well noticeable is the fact that the wooden one is a lot thicker than the plastic one. I don't know if this is going to cause an issue later. Right, let's have a look at the scratch plates. Obviously, apart from the colour, the scratch plates are pretty much bang on. The holes line up perfectly, and edge to edge, the shape seems to be exact. I can't imagine any problems rising from this scratch plate. It's pretty perfect. Right, finally, let's have a look at the cavity covers for the electrics. And straight away, they line up bang on again. The holes are in the right place, they seem exactly the right shape, and they're edge to edge correct. The only difference I can see between these two parts is again on the plastic one. There's a camber, which there isn't on the wooden part. It's got straight edges. However, I can't imagine this will cause an issue. Right, I'm just going to compare the width again and check the widths seem okay. You can see here the plate that covers the electrics is really good. The width is more or less exactly the same, and I can't see it standing proud on the back of the guitar. The switch cavity cover is also very good, and it's approximately the same width. So both of these should fit nicely on the guitar. The scratch plates could be a little thicker or a little thinner and it wouldn't make much difference, but this scratch plate is actually more or less exactly the same width, which is fine. Right, let's have a look at the switch surround, and you can see there's a definite difference here. The wooden one is more or less double the thickness of the plastic one. I'll try measuring these with a micrometer and see what that says. And you can see here the wooden one is approximately 282 and the plastic one is 151. So it is more or less half the width. Now this shouldn't be a problem on this particular component. However, if the back plates were thicker it would be a problem because they'd catch on your clothes. So the overall look and construction and finish on these parts is pretty good. They're a little different from the plastic parts, but that's why I bought them. It makes it a little more interesting. The washer from around the switch is a little thicker, but this really shouldn't make any difference. But apart from that, they all seem fine. Now, let's try holding them against the guitar and see what they look like. First, let's look at the electrics cavity plates. And you can see that bevel might be a concern. And where the plastic one fits, we have got a little bit of play, and the bevel doesn't seem to make much difference. So let's see how the wooden one fits. Hello. Something strange straight away. They've actually cut it from the wrong side. So the only way it'll fit on the guitar is if you put it on upside down, which means you lose that browning at the edge. Now, if you like that browning, which comes from the laser cutting, you've lost it. So that's a bit of a disappointment. Let's see if they've done the same thing with all the other ones. We'll look at the switch cover first of all. And you can see here, the plastic one has that bevel and fits perfectly. Right, let's now look at the wooden one and see if it fits just as well. You can see one side has the browning and one side doesn't. And it's too big. Let's just try turning it around a few times in case it's oval and it's not being cut quite right. And no, it won't fit no matter what angle you put it in at. It's about 1 millimeter oversized, so it would need to be filed down in order to fit. Yeah, when you hold them side to side they look perfect. I can only assume it's the lack of beveling that's causing the problem. So I might try putting my own beveling in and see what happens. Right, let's take a look at the switch cavity so I can show you what's going on. You can see here the plastic cover fits straight in and the screw holes line up and it's fairly flush with the body so you wouldn't catch your clothes on it. And when you compare it with the wooden one, everything seems pretty perfect and it's pretty much the same size. There's only the beveling that makes a difference. However, when we try to put it into the cavity, even with a bit of force, it just won't go in. And you can see, upside down, it won't go in either. So clearly, there's a problem there. And by turning it round, I'm checking it is an oval. But it's not, it just won't go in. So it's going to need a little bit of filing before it'll fit in place. Right, let's look at the plates for the front of the body now. And first we'll look at the washer that goes around the switch. and you can see the plastic one just fits over that hole, and you can read the text quite clearly. And the scratch plate fits so that it just lies between the pickups here, and that one hole has to line up exactly. Apart from that, it's pretty easy to fit. Right, you can see the text is a little different on the wooden one, but I quite like it. The hole is perfect and the size is perfect. I don't think the thickness of the wood will make much difference. Right, let's look at the scratch plate. Lining up that hole with the hole in the body, you can see again this fits perfectly and it looks quite nice. So out of this entire set, I think that's the most successful component, is the scratch plate, and you can see it's pretty much exactly the same as the plastic one, but a little nicer in my opinion. So the front of the guitar should be fine. These components will work okay. Right, let's summarise this review. And they've not done very well, these parts. The scratch plate is pretty much perfect, and that's okay. You can put that straight on without any attention, as can you do with the washer around the switch, even though it's a little thick. However, the reverse plates are shocking. One of the plates has been cut back to front and one of them doesn't fit. So the back plates will work with attention, however they don't go straight on the guitar out of the packet. So what this means in conclusion is, if you don't want to do any more work on these parts, don't buy them. They need a bit of attention. However, if you want to do a little work and put your own touches onto these parts, they'll do fine. They're a good basic template that you can finish off with a little bit of sanding and a little bit of care, and you could possibly even colour them. I hope this review's been useful to you, and if it has, please like and subscribe, and then you'll be notified when I upload future videos. Thank you for watching.